I expected him just to force his way through that. Here's the first one. Nice little tube, and you can see that, you know, in that first round, they helped him to bump into good ones and create the rhythm that he won the heat with.
Sebastian Zietz out there at the moment. Ooh. And he is locked into a good-looking wave here. Drives off the bottom, up into the section. Gets that turn in as well. Sebastian comes into an event where he's chasing a huge result, a little under the weather, but persevering out there at the moment. And he's got a tough draw up against John Florence.
And this one from Sebastian, best wave of the heat so far. Great travel time in the tube. Gets this nice turn in, out of the top, and then completes it with the cutout, showing control. That was a great wave and a great start for Sebastian. He needs this heat. He needs this advancement. It's so important for him. And there he is. Great control. Making it look easy. And you can see he's always got that enthusiasm. You can see those little movements of the board in the tube, and then he came out and the ankles and the knees are just subtly moving to create momentum, and because he's just so ready to tear it apart.
Just how brilliant this guy is, and he's out there at the moment here at the Billabong Pipe Masters, relegated to the elimination round. John Florence will look to turn things around. He's had a quick start. And Frederico Morais wants in on the conversation. He tucks in. Not sure he's going to come out of that one.
Well, that was makeable. That was a maker, that one. It was deep.
Here's the replay of that last one.
Stalls in, gets lovely little tube. Not set wave, so that's going to impact the score. You know, there's a lot of positives as he takes off on this one really deep. Too deep.
Frederico Morais, already it's been a successful campaign over here on the North Shore. He's earned his place back on the championship tour. He's won the qualifying series.
Coaching both of those guys, and there's a lot of positivity. Sebastian
locks into a small one, just looking for a backup score at the moment.
Interesting, you don't often see Sebastian on one wave and John on four. He's showing great control and use of his priority here. Slides in, gets covered up. A little bit of travel time there. Billy Kemper about, oh, hold on, John.
Locked in, the wave spits, and then John comes flying out. That's a bit more like it from the man that's gone all the way to second place here in the Pipe Masters a couple of times.
This guy's used to heavy water. Eddie Aikau winner. Here we go, backdoors this one. Really deep, nice travel time. Not a big set, but a nice, clean tube ride. Great control. It's just stalling there, and there it completely disappears. Then the nose of his board reappears, the wave spits, and he just comes out ever so casually. It's such a great feeling. You're in competition, so you do get to enjoy it, but you're more focused on the success and succeeding in the heat. 6-5, so great score for that one. I feel like the 4-8-3. Here we go, Sebastian again. Oh.
Well, that one's going to shut down on him. He's out of there. Pin drops just so he can keep his place right out there at the takeoff zone. Quickly gets back on his board and scrambles out of the path of this next one.
You know, the waves are really hard, but I'm just, you know, kind of just I was like, I want to be patient, but at the same time, I don't want to pass up, you know, waves where I thought there were 4s and 5s, because you never know what kind of scores you need to make the heat. So, you know, I'm just glad it worked out.
It's you know, from here on in, after this elimination round, we go man on man, and there is no second places. You got to be first or nothing.
Live action here, Sebastian Zietz tucking in, finding his way through this one. And there was a critical priority error from Frederico Morais during that interview with Kanoa.
Comparison between the two, as we see that mistake there, just on a closeout. And when you get to your feet and you realise you've made that mistake, as we see Sebastian, smaller wave but deep in the tube, would have been the chance to have all three of them in this event.
And maybe even has the coolest style of all the Florence brothers. But here we go, John up at the moment, tucking in, starting to really find his place again in the lineup. Looked a little anxious here in that first seeding round, but he's starting to get back to that position of power.
You have a look at him here on the replay. Just takes his time, sees what's going to happen ahead. Nice casual bottom turn, pulls into the tube. For John Florence, that's as easy as it gets. That's a walk in the park. Yeah, you could do that, what do they say, with his eyes closed, but you see the patience here.
And I guess at different stages, you are surfing this wave with your eyes closed. That there is moments in these rides for the surfers where there's so much spit and energy being unloaded by the wave that you actually can't see. So it's all about what you feel, and hoping that But he can charge into another full campaign in 2020. As we see Frederico Morais on a good-looking wave, locked in, has to get a make at some stage. He's not actually too far behind, but if he doesn't chip away at this requirement, he's going to be after something very special going into the final stages. Sebastian Zietz using his priority, good-looking wave, gets nice and deep on this one. Gets out on that open face and digs in, but can't ride out of that turn, unfortunately.
I saw the tube, I went, well, he needs more, and then the turn, I was like, yes. But then that completion will more or less null and void that turn as having any impact on the score. Have a look, he is super deep, like you see, backdoors that section, comes out really quickly. That turn completed, I feel like he was going to improve. There's a chance he still does. As we look now, and he just tucks in immediately, gives the board that pump so that he drives through the whitewater cleanly, realises that, hey, I might need a little more here, and the wave's staying open, so let's give it some. Drives the rail, and Nelly drove it a little bit too hard. You saw the release of the fins that led to the catch of the nose. He went over the front, and that manoeuvre was incomplete.
Got himself too high and then just got swallowed up as we have action now.
Well, he's up again and finding his way through this one, Frederico, but doubt it's going to factor in. Score came through for Sebastian Zietz on his last ride, just a 2.9.
I figure that my main priority with Frederico needing that 7.69 is making sure Frederico doesn't get that 7.69. I wouldn't be so concentrated on myself and getting scores for myself and building on what I have. Obviously, that would be a priority, but that is a certain type of wave, and I'm only going that certain type of wave. My positioning and my primary focus would be really close to Frederico and making sure that everything he caught, he only caught because I let him.
Going to let a little hole in your leg stop you from getting out there with the jersey on.
Wound.
Florence taking off, using his priority, tucked in nice and deep, still rolling through this one. The wave spits. But the two-time world champion doesn't find his way through it. Frederico Morais, what an amazing campaign in those last couple of qualifying series events. Back on the championship tour and a victory on the qualifying series for 2019. But Sebastian Zietz keeps the dream alive, and John Florence back on track here.